So I got Starlink a few months ago because when we go out traveling, I need to have internet because I'll work from the road. So I got this mount for the Starlink router off of Etsy. It's great, 3D printed, it's very sturdy. And what I did was cut a hole here in the back in my Class C. There's no wiring here. And put this little plastic push through, which is made for cables and cords and whatnot. It goes to the back. It gets a little dusty when you get the really fine dust in there, but keeps the water out, right? And I made a mistake of using clear ProFlex silicone. I'll be cleaning that off and using white, so it won't show so dirty here on the back that gets so dirty from road grind. But the cable comes right through here. I use this extra bolt-on 2-inch trailer hitch receiver to put this camco flagpole holder. I have a Harbor Freight flagpole right there, and put the Starlink up on that because I can't use my regular 2-inch because that's where my Blue Ox tow bar is for my Jeep. So I put it in here, ran an electrical cord over there, right? And have all of this 75 feet to run out onto the tripod, the quad pod, the original legs that come with your Starlink, just in case there's trees around the RV and I need to get it out. And it just goes right through there, and it works perfectly. Another little Etsy find are these little caps here to keep the dust out of the connections. Okay, but what I have found is the router being back here, even though it's only a 30-foot RV, the connection wasn't great. I kept dropping connection to the router. So what I'm going to end up doing is taking this, I'm going to move it inside the RV and just run the antenna cable here. So I'll lose 10 feet maybe at most of antenna cable because I'll zip tie mount it up along all these edges here, right? So it is out of the way, because these are my black and fresh water containers, because all my hookups are here on the driver's side, of course. So I'll just remount the wires up here. I had already the electrical cable going to it mounted up there, and I've pulled that down because I'm in the process of pulling this off, but realized, hey, maybe other people would like to know, if I get Starlink, can I put it in an outside bay? Well, yeah. But even with just having a lot of wood between, this basement area and the inside of the coach, it wasn't getting a great signal. And I was surprised by that. If there was a lot of metal, aluminum stuff, although, I don't know how aluminum would affect the signal, if it would create that Faraday cage sort of interference or not. I don't know if aluminum's a metal that'll do that. I'm sure there's some metallurgical expert out there who could answer that, but I just wasn't getting a great signal. So gonna take it off, move it inside, but I figured before I do, I should show this setup so I can show people what didn't quite work for me. And I mean, it worked, but signal was weak and it was dropping signal to the router. So I'm gonna move it inside. So I have figured out how I'm gonna do this, right? I've removed the old Etsy Starlink mount from that wall, right? So I'm gonna run the cable still through the opening that I created there, and back over here where I created an opening and put that little plate, I'm gonna feed it the cable to the dishy through there. I'll show you where I'm gonna mount the router now. Welcome to my Class C. So here under this bed, right, you can see I put a piano hinge on this. It didn't come with that. Oh, look at that. I can lift it with my leg. This is where my freshwater tank drain, low point drains, water pump. I'll turn that around so you can see. Here's the transfer switch. I'm going to mount it right on that little vertical piece of wood right there. That's the other end of the dishy cord coming through that hole right there. And I've got an outlet on both sides that I can plug the router into, so this should work perfectly. Let's see. I had to call my daughter out here to hold the mattress up so I could use two hands. So there it is. It's underneath the spare pecs that I keep inside the RV at all times, just in case I get a leak or something. Might as well store it in here instead of in my garage. So you can see it's there. The dishy cable is going out into the basement, and I am routing that now. And so is the electrical cord. I just pushed it back out there and plugged it into the outlet, the extension outlet I put out there, which is what this white cord is. It just comes in, goes through a little hole there, and plugs in on the side. All right, outside into the basement. Okay, so here we are. There's where the cables come out, right? I can actually tie that up a little bit. Come through here. Here's where I just mounted the extension cord. And then you can see, just using the same screws and holes that were there, just use those zip ties that you can put a screw through, and then mount it up. Let's turn you around so you can see the other side. Up along here so it's out of the way of all my bins. And now the cable will go through there. And there is your finished product. And then all we need to do when we want to use it, slide this up, pop this open, pull the cable out, and then when the cable's out, close this water cover to keep any water and hopefully bugs out, right? So I do need to come back over here, ow, hit my head, and silicone all around this, right? Just to seal that up some more. But yeah, pretty good. Okay folks, so to wrap up, I just wanted to show you a couple of pictures of what the outside final setup of the Starlink looks like on the RV. So as you can see, what I pointed out earlier, I have a 2-inch hitch receiver. It's designed to go on a 4-inch square tube, bumper of an RV like I have here, which is great because I can put my Stinky Slinky in there. So it's just mounted on there. It actually came powder coated in black, but I painted it with automotive white just to kind of let it blend in a little bit. So I have the Camco flagpole holder that is in that hitch. It's held in with a regular hitch lock, pin lock. And then the Harbor Freight flagpole, which has an Etsy purchase, another great Etsy purchase, the Starlink mount adapter that goes in the top of the pole. And then the pole is extendable, of course. You can see in this next picture, I only had it extended up above the roof of the RV, which is all I really needed, was clearance for clear sky there. But it could go up higher, obviously, if need be. And since then, I've also bought some of these small little Velcro cable management strips, and now to keep the cable from flapping around in the wind and up against the pole, I have 3 of those that are on the pole that I can use to strap down the cable and just keep it nice and flush against the pole. And that's it. All right, so I also actually drilled a hole through the Camco flagpole holder and the pole so that I could put another small, I think it's 1/2 inch, hitch lock through there, just to make sure I can leave it all set up and leave the camp and not worry about anybody, not so much worried about them stealing the dishy, because you can't use that unless it's with the router and everything that it's assigned to through Starlink. But somebody could take the pole and my little printed mount and all that other stuff. So I do have those locks on there just to keep it safe and secure. But as you can see, it works perfectly. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them in a timely manner. And if you're curious about any of the parts and pieces that I use to accomplish all of this, I'll link them down in the description below. So if you like this video, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And you can hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I put out a video. Take care, everybody. Okay, so just to wrap up, I wanted to give you a couple of pictures of what the final outside part of the Starlink setup looks like. So here you can see that add-on 2-inch trailer hitch receiver that I mentioned earlier. I'll link it in the description below. It's designed to fit around a 4-inch square bumper like on my Class C. Then have that camco flagpole holder that sticks in there. It's held in there with a regular hitch lock. And then the Harbor Freight flagpole, which fits perfectly in the camco holder. And then I got off Etsy one of those 3D printed caps to put in the top of the flagpole that the dishy mount fits perfectly into. So as you can see now in this picture, I can go much taller than that on the flagpole. I just did that to test it out. And pretty much as long as it clears the roof of the RV, you're going to have a decent view if there's no trees around. I have since also gotten some of these little red Velcro straps. So when I have the cord coming down, I put 2 or 3 of those little straps around to keep the cord from flapping in the wind or anything like that. So it actually works perfectly for me. I also have one of those Husky containers that you've seen in many YouTube videos. I'll link it below, but that you can get at Home Depot as well. Then you've seen a lot of videos of people who use that to store all of their Starlink stuff. It does fit it perfectly. Unfortunately, they changed the packaging before I got Starlink, so now it's just the cardboard stuff and it doesn't work too well. But I found another way to keep it in there safe and secure. So anyway, that's it for this video. That's how I've got my Starlink, and the router is working like a champ now. I've got great signal to the router inside the RV and outside the RV actually. So works perfectly. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to try to help you out. Take care, everybody.